Welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. You know what it is? National championship game tonight for football, college football, that is. I am Jen, my co-host Ryan.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna get into it, man. Big game last night. Well, a big game. Well, it wasn't a big game on Saturday. We all knew what it was. Cowboys came in wanting to get some work in. We had the whole team on the active CVID list. I don't want to keep throwing the name out there. So it was just like a dress rehearsal. But I liked what this Eagles team did going into week 17, getting some good work, getting a really good win over the Washington football team, and putting ourselves in position to match up against this Buccaneers squad. So what are your thoughts coming up for this matchup between the Eagles and the Buccaneers?
I feel like it's a fairly good one. I mean, when you lose players like Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown just got released. You have a nice – it's Tom Brady, but those are big losses. Antonio Brown's one of the top, tier receivers in this league, and then you lose Chris Godwin on top of that. And then you lose your top running back. It's an advantage for us. And, it's going to be a tough game regardless. I get that. But not having those players is, that's key. And they've been struggling against the run as well. They actually struggled against the Jets. And so that's big for us because, our strength, the run. So, that could be big for us going into this game. And, I really, Miles Sanders might be good in this game. It's a little iffy right now because of that broken hand, but because it is this carrying hand. But, if we have our running backs, even Boston Scott, we can get that run game going. I think we'll be all right. And, we'll see how Jalen Hurts goes into this game. But, I like our chances. I really do.
I was really surprised when you said that the rush defense for the Tampa Bay wasn't up to par against the Jets, because that's been one of their strengths coming into this year.
Yeah, it has been, but apparently from reports I've read, I've been doing my due diligence. Apparently they haven't been good lately. Maybe there were some losses that they lost on the D line. I don't know what it is, but apparently the past couple of games they haven't been good against the run. So
yeah, that if so, even so, whether they were strong or not, that has to be an area where the Eagles establish their identity, what we've been doing the past 3 months.
Oh, absolutely.
Putting pressure on them. Doesn't matter who it is. You have a strong run game in the playoffs, you're going to be a tough team to beat.
Oh, absolutely.
So you look at the teams like the Eagles. You look at Green Bay with Aaron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, you look at Tampa Bay. There's going to be an issue with Fournette. He's injured, right?
Yeah, he's injured.
Right. So that's going to be a really big deal for them not having him in. If
him
in, they were able to control clock and really be able to have a balanced game plan.
Yeah.
They didn't have their full complement of wide receivers. Now that's going to be a big issue. So I'm going to go through the full breakdown in a later episode, actually going through the injury list, seeing who's in, who's out, how that's going to affect their game plan, what their strengths and weaknesses is going to be. But I think it's pretty obvious right now that their receiving core, while still good, is not what it was. It's not that it's not good. It's just a different look on offense for them.
Yeah.
We go from having the big three with Mike Evans and Godwin and Antonio Brown and Gronk when he was healthy to now just having Mike Evans and Gronk. But it's still a very, very good tandem.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got Scotty Miller, too.
Right, exactly. So they have a lot of weapons. So you're going to have to really get pressure. Now, it's going to come down to one matchup that I'm looking at that I'm really keying in on is obviously Darius Slay versus Mike Evans. He's probably going to be shadowing him all game. We know that.
Oh, for sure.
Second matchup, and Darius Slay has been phenomenal all year. He's going to the Pro Bowl for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Down some really good competition this year. Second matchup that I'm really keeping an eye on is Josh Sweat versus, I forgot his first name, Wirfs.
Mm-hmm.
The left tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's really good.
Yeah.
Their first round draft pick, not this past draft, but the draft before that.
Mm-hmm.
So Brandon Worth or something like that, Jason Worth, I can't remember. Said
Yeah, pretty good.
He's really good. So our pass rush has been pretty solid with Josh Sweat, but we're gonna have to see if he's able to consistently beat their left tackle, because if you're able to get pressure on Brady, get him throwing the ball a little sooner than he wants to, then that's where you're going to have some success. But if you can't get to him, then there's going to be a problem.
Yeah. They ain't winning. They don't get the Brady.
Yeah, exactly. And then matchup number 3 is what we just talked about, that Eagles run game versus that Tampa Bay rush defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to wonder if Paella is healthy in the middle, because I remember he was injured during the Super Bowl run. They were suffering with the run D. When he came back, he re-solidified the middle of that front. So I wonder if he's in or out or not. Because if he's in and they're still not doing well against the run, I have to really wonder what the hell's going on with them.
Yeah. Just it's been the past couple games. I mean, listen, regardless of the situation, they're good or not, you got to solidify the run. But it's just something to really watch, because if they're not as solid as they were in the beginning of the season, throughout the season, then take advantage of that. You know, not saying don't run the ball, even if they are good. I'm just saying, like, it's something to look out for.
Absolutely. I know. I hope he doesn't get pass happy. He's done that against teams where he's felt as though they're high scoring offenses and he feels as though he has to keep up with, pass the ball a lot to be able to keep pace. I hope he's learned his lesson. We're going to find out very soon. He's a young coach, but he's taken harsh lessons and learned from them before, i.e. turning our identity into a run first team when we were pass happy earlier. Hopefully he has really ingrained that into his mind, that you don't have to air the ball out 50 times a game to keep up with a team that puts up a lot of points. If you're able to run the ball well and control clock, you don't have to turn into a shootout. Control the clock, run the ball, be physical, wear the defense down, and put yourself in position to win a game at the end. We just saw that, and this is a perfect segue. We just saw that happen last night with the Raiders versus the Chargers.
That game. I remember watching it before I went to bed, because, you know, I get up early. So before I went to bed, that game, I wanted to stay up, I'll be honest, because it was getting really good. And just, you were right. You were right in that text message I saw when I woke up about Max, bro. That dude, like this. How many more years does he have on that contract, bro? Like, y'all better keep him.
I know, man. I know.
He's something else. Like he's that star you guys needed to replace Khalil Mack.
Yo, that's facts, man. That's fact. You know, it'd be nicer is having him and Khalil Mack, but whatever. At least we were able to get a pass rusher. And when I sent you that text, he had 74 in a torture chamber, man. He was tormenting this guy, man. It just every play he was in, especially like the last 2 drives in the fourth quarter, Justin Herbert was getting off the ground so much that he was like constantly picking grass out of his helmet. They were killing this kid, man.
Yeah, man. Mad Max is not to be messed with.
No. But, you know, we allowed them to come back in the game. But the reason that we were ahead to begin with is because Josh Jacobs, he had a 100-yard game. But in that fourth quarter alone, he had 92 yards, bro. He just 9 yards to carry. He was just running roughshod over that Chargers defense.
Yeah.
And they put up a statistic on the screen that showed that the Chargers were extremely good at putting up points in the fourth quarter. I think they had like 166 points in the fourth quarter this season, which might be an NFL record or close to it. But on the flip side, their defense was just as bad and giving up almost as many points, if not more. So like you got your spoon, not even a shovel, not even a bucket. You got your spoon. You got a bucket and you're scooping water out the boat. Meanwhile, there's a hole in the bottom of it, right? So it's like no matter how good they are on offense and they're high powered, they're just short circuiting on defense in the fourth quarter. Beyond
Yeah.
that, like their run defense is horrible,
Oh
but
yeah.
they are able to get after the quarterback. They get a nice lead. They're able to pin their ears back and send Bosa and the boys after people. But in the fourth quarter, I don't know what it is. They just tend to short circuit and they just give up points like hotcakes. And that's what happened to them. We ran all over them. However, and there are a couple of bad calls that didn't go our way. But man, sometimes situational awareness, we just don't have it. Now, the second play before the final touchdown that they scored to tie the game up, they had 10 seconds left on the clock or something to that extent. And they had no timeouts. All you had to do was funnel the ball to the middle of the field. It may have been 16 seconds. I don't remember or whatnot. But it was enough time where you didn't want to throw to the middle of the field because you might not be able to run another play. And somehow our defender allowed Herbert to complete a pass out of bounds. Your one job, you sit on the sideline, and when you see the receiver running anywhere near there, you funnel him back to the middle of the field. No matter what route they're running. Any out routes, not happening. You running you can run a post, you can run a go route in the middle, you can run an in route. You're not running no out routes. It's not going to happen. Yeah. That's your only job. Your only job. And somehow you allow the guy to catch the ball and be able to skate out of bounds. It's unacceptable. So those are the little things. Yeah, we came out with a win, but those are the little mental mistakes that you make in crunch time that separate the good teams from the teams that go home. So you have to clean up those little mistakes. But that was a wild game last night. And we have to talk about two calls by, is it Brandon Staley? I think that's their head coach, the Chargers head coach.
Yeah, that's coach.
Brandon Staley. The first one, it didn't make sense to me. It might have been the third quarter or maybe early in the fourth quarter. 4th and some odd yards from their own 15-yard line. Not our 15-yard line or 20-yard line, in their territory. They go for it. I didn't understand that. We were up 17-14 at that point. And you're going for it on 4th down, deep in your own territory. What kind of sense does that make?
What was it? 4th and what?
It might have been like 4th and 6, something like that. 4th and 5.
I mean, even I can understand maybe inches but I mean, if you got 6 or 5 yards, you're punting that ball. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and they gave us a free 3 points. So we went from 17-14 to 20-14. And then we took that and then went up. I gotta look this up. The score is so all over the freaking place. But at one point we were up 29-14. We were up 15 points. We went to we're up 29-14, and we were not able to get consistent plays in the secondary.
Right.
There were some penalties. There was a 4th down where we had a holding on Jared Cook. It's like, you can't make that mistake, man.
No.
That's the game. Those are drive extenders. And they're able to somehow tie the game up. And kudos to Justin Herbert. He showed a lot of poise. He was getting knocked around, especially in that fourth quarter. He was getting hit hard. He was getting knocked around. 74 was just getting destroyed by Max Crosby. And we were just in his face. And he made the plays, man. He kept stepping up, making the plays.
He's the truth, bro.
He is. Yeah. So you go into overtime, and there were some Steelers fans in there, and they panned to the Steelers fans, and they were just sitting there more stressed out than the Raiders fans, honestly. Because if either they were just like, they were sitting there rooting for the Raiders, or whoever was up at the time, it didn't matter. They just couldn't afford a tie. So they're sitting back there like, oh man, Raiders about to win, they about to close this thing out. We're going to the playoffs. Thank you, Las Vegas. And then guess what happened? They come back and tie it up, and then their hearts just stop. It did.
Oh, of course.
Like, oh my gosh, it's about that, because they almost just had a tie. So they're like, there can't be another game was going to almost be a tie. It's impossible.
Oh, for sure, man.
So then we go down. So we get a field goal. The Chargers get a field goal. And then the Chargers get the ball back. We stop them somehow. We get the ball back, and we get to around midfield at the 2-minute warning. Then we run the ball. Clock goes down. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you got one or two scenarios. The Raiders are either just going to run the clock down, take a knee, and go to the playoffs and, say, you know what? Los Angeles Chargers, let's just go to the playoffs. Why be still playing? Let's just nail this clock out, right? Which is not going to happen because we didn't want to play the Chiefs, because that was what would have happened if we would have tied. Our seeding would have placed us with the Chiefs. I don't want that. So the most likely scenario was going to be that we were going to try to run the ball, get as close as we could before time expired, and then try to kick a field goal. And just, if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't, right?
Right.
What possessed Brandon Staley to call a timeout for the Chargers?
I wish I would have saw this game, man. He sounded like he really made some bonehead decisions. I mean, the 4th and 5 and then the timeout, like, bro.
And I was looking at First Things First with Nick Wright and whatnot this morning, and Broussard came on and he was saying it didn't make sense to call the timeout. He was coming at the analytics. It's like, I don't care what the analytics say. You have to go by feel, by your gut. The common sense would tell you that you probably shouldn't call a timeout in that situation. What way is it benefiting you? And then Nick Wright and a lot of people in the comments were saying this. They're like, well, the Raiders were going to run the ball anyway, so them calling a timeout didn't make any difference. Wrong. I'll tell you why. Because you couldn't predict that Josh Jacobs was going to get 10 yards on that play. By calling a timeout, you gave us a chance to look at formation and come up with a better play. Maybe we would have only got 3 yards and then another 2 yards and then another 5. You don't know. But by calling a timeout, you gave us a chance to really sit back, get a better play call than maybe we might have had, and actually bust a run out on the left side to get into what figured to be a chip shot for Daniel Carson. So it was very idiotic, in my opinion. And it didn't matter. Like, to downplay it and say that the outcome was going to be similar anyways. There's a big difference between a 20-yard kick, a 40-yard kick, and a 60-yard kick. It could have we could have easily have been kicking it from the 40-yard line as opposed to closer up.
Mm-hmm.
So calling a timeout and giving us a chance to do that made no sense to me. And it has to be held accountable. That wasn't the only dumb decision he made in that game, in my opinion. Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
So it's not the worst decision I've ever seen, but it was definitely bizarre.
It was. Yeah.
Like, you remember when we played the Cowboys earlier this year and Mike McCarthy, what did he do? He let the clock run out at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ran the ball on third down. They stopped us. And instead of calling a timeout, he let the clock run it all the way down.
Yeah, I thought that was strange.
Yeah. And all the Cowboys fans, when I went to my news feed on Facebook, they were just like, what is he doing? I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, did you what?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
It helped us. I don't care. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah. Thank you.
Cowboys fan, I'd be kicking a hole through my screen.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. But
idiotic.
Short, Eagles and the Raiders. That's my second team. For all y'all don't know, I'll just keep repeating myself every week. Doesn't matter. We're both in the playoffs. And I know Alec Davis is somewhere upstairs ranting and raving. He's not smiling. He's never happy. That's the point. That's the moral of the story. He's probably somewhere looking for a head coach to fire. But he's probably he's probably still happy that we won. Come on, man. We lost John Gruden. We lost Henry Ruggs. Our special teams coach is our head coach in the interim. We had so many things go wrong, and somehow we found a way to go into the playoffs. It's crazy to me.
It is, man. I mean, props to Derek Carr too, man. He's had a heck of a year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. He showed up and showed out, man. That's my quarterback, man. That's my quarterback, man. Just know that.
He's been really good, man.
Yeah. Put some respect on my man's name, yo.
Real shit.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's what's going on this week in football. We're going to talk more about it coming up this week. And that's really all I had on my plate right now. There's not a whole bunch of news in boxing and whatnot. Kind of waiting for some fights to get made, purse bids to happen and whatnot. The only fight that's coming up that I know of is Tyson Fury has to fight his mandatory, who is Dillian White. Dillian White's a pretty good heavyweight, so they're doing a purse bid on that. But beyond that, I don't know of any big fights off the top of my head. I have to, look at the news and see what's coming up.
Yeah, there ain't much going on right now.
Yeah, slow January, man. So at least we got the playoffs coming up for NFL.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, man. But we're going to get back at it. That's it for this episode. Or any other things that you had in your mind you want to talk about, man?
What do you think of the matchup with the Raiders and the Bengals?
I don't like the matchup. I think the Bengals are a really good team. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, rough. Rough. And you got Joe Mixon too. So.
Listen, I hope your boys pull it out, but I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. I don't like the chances.
Hey, we gotta be realistic over here. Think with our heads, not our hearts.
Exactly. I hope they win though, bro. Hope they're underdogs.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Eagles are underdogs too, bro.
Yeah, I like our matchup a little more, but still, it's gonna be tough, man. Got to put your big boy pads on. Maybe get Ike Reese, throw your neck roll on, give us 5 plays.
Yep, you gotta be some of that Ike juice.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Ike, man. I say Ike, you got like 5 more plays in you, man. Just ask your wife to take the neck roll out the safe, man. Just throw it on 5 plays, bro.
Yeah, he definitely has some in him.
Yeah, man. But that's gonna be it for this episode, man. We're gonna wrap up here, man. I appreciate you being back as usual, bringing that fire, bringing that good analysis and all that other good stuff, man.
I appreciate you too, bro. Thanks for having me on here.
I'm your host, Jen. Gonna catch y'all next time, man. Be easy. Enjoy the national championship game tonight. Catch y'all later. Peace.